left side of my screen is our demo environment. The right side is Cabooses accounting page. So I might be jumping back and forth between the two, but on a minute-by-minute basis, this is the sales dashboard. This is what exists inside the Manager app. So you can download the Manager app to your iPhone, Android, whatever your preferred platform is, and get all this data there. So when you're looking at a moment-by-moment, if you want to see what's happening right now, this shows you right now. There's no latency here. There's no like 15-minute updates or anything. Every time you refresh, brand new picture. Excuse me. The consolidated dashboard is this. I'm going to switch over to the classic view because it just blows all of these items up, so it's a little bit easier to walk through. It's also kind of my preferred viewpoint, but so starting from the top left, sales summary, net, auto grats, taxes, tips, collected, etc. Any accounts receivable if you're using us for those type of payments. Deferred revenue would be gift cards sold. And if you're using us to hold any deposits or have sold any like event deposits through the platform. So those would show as deferred revenue sold for today. And then you can see here, there's a link to the accounting page where you can get a detailed report of all of those. You can see this is our chart of accounts at Caboose. Excuse me. Where we can see where all of our revenues are, and we can click in, and click around and get those reports. Again, and you can also view, the Demo Cafe doesn't have QuickBooks attached to it. So there's no chart of accounts for here, but when you see this report, actually, we can just go to Caboose. Why not? They are about to hit their lunch rush, so they'll have some sales to report for today. This is probably a little bit more accurate. Let's go to today. There we go. So now we have like a live account. They're actually transacting for the day. They open up in the morning as a coffee shop and then lunch and dinner. Beyond that, we see here, so all the chart of accounts that we have made sales under today pop up here. And then we have our zone sales. Again, these are the kind of subdivisions where, you have bar A, bar B, patio left, patio right, whatever. You can subdivide the venue into zones so we can look at performance on patios or different parts of the dining room or to go, whatever it might be. Those would be considered zones. Within this tab here, you can see we've got POS and digital. POS is anything that goes through a stationary terminal or like a point of sale terminal, whether it's pocket or stationary. Digital would be customer facing ordering through a QR kiosk, etc. So you can see the division of those sales and then your totals. Discounts and fees versus adjustments. These are two different things. To reiterate, adjustments are comps, voids, discounts that human beings do. There's nothing here to report because nothing's happened yet today. Whereas discounts and fees are coming out of the rules engine. Those are the automations, coupons, segment discounts, etc. Payment types are pretty straightforward. All of your different credit card types or cash will appear in that. And again, you have a specified deferred revenue detail report. This would show you any gift cards sold, amounts, time, etc., etc. And then you have your gross sales by chart of accounts, comp and void reasons. So every time we do an adjustment, we have to provide a reason for it. Those are customizable, so you'll have whatever inputs you want to see there. And then your total tips summary. And then again, the graph down at the bottom, which is manipulatable. For a single day, we can compare up to 3 weeks in the past. And we can also grab date ranges to look at large data sets. I'll just grab the whole month of October. And give it a second to load up. There we go. So now we've got 21 days of mix. I can zoom in on individual days if I want, or blocks of days as I want. I can also look at individual day reporting. So now I'm going to look at Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays for the whole month. There's only been a couple. And then I can hover over and it tells me my total sales for the day, my average check. And then I can also look at sales by item from this dashboard. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. And I guess I didn't point out that you can also set time of day and user. So you can zoom in on a very specific bartender during a very specific shift should you want to from this dashboard into the past. What you can, and we can actually automate your ownership group to just receive this email on a daily basis. This comes out every morning for the previous day. So this is one from Caboose from, I don't know, sometime in the past. Total sales, everything you just saw on the dashboard, basically refunds, comps, etc., discounts and fees, your average check amount. Since this has been created, we also have, we have it here already. Average cover. If you guys are taking guest counts on your checks, you will also get your per person average here. And then you will get sales versus labor and compared to the previous week. And anytime you see a hyperlink here, you can click in and get to that reporting page on the dashboard. Hopefully you never have an open tabs report because all of the tabs close themselves. But if you do, that'll show up here. Then you get a product mix for the day. And again, you can hyperlink and get to the full product mix for the day from here if you wanted to drill down on any specific category. Because you can see here, we have major categories, but we don't have individual items available on this particular email. Then there's also your customer experience dashboard. I always caveat this by saying this data is only as good as the people using it. So if customers are using the interface and they're leaving that feedback, you'll get it here. You get red light, green light, yellow light. And obviously no rating. So if you do have, a series of red lights or yellow lights, you can zoom in on trends, and then you can actually zoom in on the check. And if they've opted in for communication, you can text or email them because they've given permission to do so, all from this dashboard. The final thing here is the fulfillment metrics. I'm not sure if you're going to lean into these too heavily, but you can ticket in to ticket out. We'll show you how many orders you had and what your average ticket time was. And this is customizable from top to bottom or bottom to top. Depending on how you want to view it, your onboarding manager can deal with that. So that's the daily email part of it. Back on the reporting side, again, we have the product mix, which lets you zoom in on specific items. So my drill down is set up just category product option, but you do have, if you ever get multiple locations, you can compare locations, you can look at your zone sales, chart of accounts, et cetera, et cetera. Major category, click in. Shows me my number one item, happens to be just the haze, gross quantity, top to bottom, and then I can click into just the haze and start viewing my options. If we're going as far, and this will be a conversation between you and onboarding, but if we're going as far as to track how many ounces each of these items is worth, a pint being 16, half pint being 8 or 10, taster being 4 or 5, whatever, we will create those data when we set the item up in the inventory screen. And then we can generate those reports that we sold, 150 pints, which totals to a total of 100, whatever X amount of ounces that is. We can generate those reports, and you can use them as CSV files or spreadsheets or whatever if you're interested in collecting those data. I forget, John, are you guys using an ERP, Ecos, Ohanify, anything like that for the brew house?
Yeah, we use Margin. Oh, we use Ecos, yes.
You had Ecos? Okay. We are now integrated with Ecos. So if you want to have those data delivered to Ecos, we can make that happen for you.
Okay.
It's a brand new thing that we've been trying for, I think, since I've worked at GoTab and trying to get this integration done with them, and it keeps starting and stopping, but it's finally done. So we can make Ecos your source of truth for all of the beer, long story short.
Okay.
Yeah, the rest of this, I don't think we really need to talk about the rest of it. So I'll just kind of show you around the accounting page. I will admit that I'm not the most knowledgeable about these because I rarely have to interact with them, but we can link I assume you're using QuickBooks, or your accountant uses QuickBooks for their bookkeeping.
He uses Xero.
Xero, okay. So same deal. We can push through. We don't have any active accounts with Xero, but we can definitely push through. Ken, can you please make a note and buzz that over to Hannah that we need to get a Xero thing up for these guys? Anyway, so the chart of accounts, again, comes from the accounting platform that imports into GoTab. We deliver the data back to it. So it'll look fairly the same. Again, chart of accounts, all the sales for the day. You can create date ranges, accruals, deposits. Your merchant overview will show you your processing rates and all that stuff. That's probably not available to me here. But yeah, so this is your balance for the time period or balance for the month to date or whatever. Thanks, Ken. We can also, with the way we can create permissions, we can actually just create a profile for the account that'll bring them straight to this page so they can just interact with this stuff when they need to. And any kind of HR items that they need. I'm not sure what your bookkeepers are doing, but that's kind of the long and the short of it. So you can pull date range reporting, for the month. I'll just go ahead and do that. So it's broken down by day. You get detail report by zooming in as such, but you can look at day to day to day to day to day. For stuff that managers are probably going to be interacting with, there is the, what am I looking at? The tab screen. So this is kind of like the end of the night or morning, need to reopen a check or need to make an adjustment after the fact or whatever. The tab screen, you can grab, a date range. You can search by the person's name. If they have their receipt, they can look it up on their GoTab profile, or if you're going to do paper receipts and they keep it, you can look by check number. You can also look for if we ever get into like selling stuff in the future for you or doing like pre-sales, you can also look at your pending sales from here as well. But if I need to reopen or refund a check, it's all very straightforward. And anybody who's a manager and has access to comp void discount and refund will be able to get to this tab. If they do not, they will not be able to get to this tab. So you can compartmentalize user permissions based off of a lead, supervisor, manager roles, whatever you come up with. The permissions are customizable. Also, I guess just to mention that you can reassign a check. If Bill closes what it was actually supposed to be, Jacob, we can reassign it from here after the fact. So that's kind of the nutshell version. Happy to zoom in on anything you have questions about.
When it shows the if we're still using 7 shifts for clocking in and clocking out, when you show that the report with the labor, is it are they talking? How does it know?
Yeah, it's so 7 shifts and 7 punches are the source of truth. Like when you're on the GoTab point of sale terminal and you hit clock in, you just are immediately clocking into 7 shifts. So I believe this is a question for onboarding, because my knowledge kind of ends at that it works, and that the two things we pull the employee information from 7 shifts and send back the shift and tip data to them. I actually do not know if you click on our labor reporting, if you can view the 7 shifts reports in GoTab. I believe that 7 shifts would be the source of truth for that, but I'm going to say don't quote me on that until we find out.
But it will track like how many hours, so we have an idea of what our labor costs were.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all, So the time clock, it all exists within 7 punches. So they do clock in, they do clock out. The data reports to 7 shifts through payroll, and the reports are generated there, is my understanding. I'm not entirely sure if it reports in GoTab. We can check on Caboose. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at yesterday and see, because they use, so you can see here, like we just sync 7 shifts through GoTab. Just click that button, and that's what pulls reports in, or pulls employee information in. I believe you would just go to 7 shifts for those kinds of things, but like I said, don't quote me on that. My knowledge kind of ends with at GoTab, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then basically this window that we're looking at, this is just the back end. So everything is just through this, this list here on the left, basically.
Correct. And if you were to do it, I'll just so you've seen it, I'll show you the manager app. It would just, if you're doing it on your phone, it looks like this. It's exactly the same screen. All the functionality is there. So you can actually do this from your phone or from a tablet or whatever.
And on that one, on the phone one, the real-time sales, what is that? Is that it right there?
Yeah, this is what you're looking at. You're in the demo environment. That's why it looks like a negative. But yeah, this is the 18th. We can pull it up to today. So yeah, live snapshot of what's going on in the restaurant today right now.
Okay. And this pretty much operates the same as if they could do pretty much anything on their phone as they could on the
100% functionality. There's no loss. There's nothing missing. At the end of the day, this app is really just a web scan. Like I'm looking at a web page that's mobile optimized.
Right.
Exactly the same thing as what's over here.
Okay.
Yeah. And this app can also live, if you wanted this app to live on one of your point of sale terminals, you can absolutely do that. There's not a lot you can't do from the terminal that you can do here, as far as but if you need to get to the tab screen or something to do a refund after the fact or whatever, this is, we can put the app on the tablets if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very cool. What else did I have? And what other, we're in the reporting section. What other reports are in there?
Those are the reports. I mean, we have, there's an inventory depletions report. So if we're tracking those items, let's see, let's just try an orders report for the month. So if we're tracking like ounces on items or depletion on items, you'll see here, like these are items that we're tracking. So we can look at that. I have one beer set up with ounce tracking. We haven't really set up the whole menu here. Here you go. So like Stone Arrogant Bastard, we sold, 13 of those or whatever, 13 ounces of that, tasters. So those data all appear like this. It's not crystal customizable reporting in that sense, but the items that we're tracking, you just generate whether you want to look at your receiving or lost theft, decremental stock adjustments or whatever it might be. So like I said, our reporting is pretty simple, but it's also very straightforward, like reporting individual item sales and individual, here you go. So we sold a total of 227 ounces of Arrogant Bastard, et cetera, et cetera. So as we set that, I mean, your dashboard will be set up, in this way if you want to track all these, because we'll need to deliver these data to Ecos, so there's a good matchup for your inventory for your loss tracking.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially, I think it seems like since you're using that ERP, especially when it comes to what you're doing with the beer, moving beer from the brew house to the tap room or whatever, you'll probably go to that platform for those data anyway. But this is just kind of a quick view where a manager can look at what they sold for the day or the week or the month or whatever without having to open up a separate app. So like as far as like customizable reports, it's more like bring up the dashboard, enter the parameters that you want, and you get a report there, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Sorry, I've got 2 instances open, so it's mad at me for that.